dark in here. Lurker. Yo, what's up? All right. We got everybody's stuff shipped today. Morgan, you're not going to believe this. So, there is a lady in town that gets all these shirts from like the shirt supplier when you like work at like these factories or somewhere where they supply your work shirts. And she buys up all the people that get fired shirts, I guess, because they return them. They're $1. And I don't know if you've shopped for like work button ups like these, like the Dickies ones. They're like $50, 40, 30, like for the crappy ones, but they're like super expensive. And you get them for $1. And they have patches on them, but they remove them because they got fired. I'll just throw me a Tacklecraft patch on them. $1 shirt. And then I can ruin it. Doesn't matter. Go to her shop, buy me another one for $1. So, pretty sweet, actually. Yeah, the patch costs more than the shirt. So, but she has tons of fire rated stuff because all the plants around here. Yeah, well, but I've never worn a fire rated shirt, but they seem hot. Bassing with Big Malone, you want me to get you a work shirt? Throw you a patch on it. I have to upcharge you to $5, but for the travel costs. But we could work that out. We could work that out. You get anybody a patch pirate. Very hot. See, I think that would be good for the wintertime. Like you could wear not as many layers and you could just wear one shirt and it'd be hot. So it might be good that I could just, if I get one of those fire rated shirts, I could wear it out in the shop and not have to wear like a sweatshirt. I could just wear that one shirt and be fine. But she's got fire rated shit everywhere. Johnny, what's up, man? To get a bait painted, does it have to be blank? No, it doesn't have to be blank. Unless you want it transparent. Like if you want some sort of ghost paint job, it would need to be clear. And I can paint over most existing paint jobs. Some I can't. Some you run into issues where, because all my paint is solvent based, and you hit them with a little too much solvent, and the clear coats will wrinkle and make a big mess. And then you're trying to remove solvents with solvents on plastic, and it just gets messy. So I try not to do too much paint removal. I've got a sandblaster out there, but I don't have the cabinet set up yet. And my dad fried the 220 that the compressor was plugged into. So I won't be doing it's typically, Johnny, it's typically painted over. Stock paint is typically perfectly fine to paint over because stock paint usually sticks. Like if you paint over Strike King paint, it's just the same as painting blank as far as like adhesion goes. What you run into is if somebody else paints a bait and then people send those in and want you to paint over somebody else's paint, that's typically, uh, yeah, unless it's a DRT or a Roman. Um, uh, so, Clay, you did? Who blasted you? They deserved it. Um, he then before assuming stock paint is good. Yeah, there's like Strike King makes good paint. Lucky Craft makes good paint. A lot of those Jacklaw has good paint. Um, but there's some that don't. So, oh yeah, I did. It was Teckle. Excuse me, Travis. I think that was a fluke thing. I think that was a. I think that was a. I think it had to do with that foil. I'm pretty sure. I think that was the foil problem. They said it was make them look realistic and basically sell them. Dude, all they did was take the teardrop out. It is that does not make them look more realistic. I should make my old white butyrate Norman's ghost green. Ooh, I have to get my sandpaper out and sand them down to where they're paper thin, like the old Zell Roland custom pop bars. What's up, JP? I got your bait you one in the mail today. Clay, you could have thrown me to the wolves. That'd have been fine. I would have gladly fallen on that sword. DRT has some kind of weird metallic base coat that does not want anything sticking. I think it's I don't know what it is. I had that same issue with some chrome paint. Nothing would stick to it. You couldn't get it to stick, and if you wanted it to stick, you'd have to sand it, and then that defeated the purpose of it, so it was worthless. Make them look realistic. I don't know. I don't really. I don't even see the argument there. We took one teardrop away and just dotted it normal, so it looks way more realistic now. No, it doesn't. I think anything shiny, metallic, and slick doesn't want anything. Yeah, I don't know. What's the next drop? It's coming soon, Darius. Very soon. Sooner than you may think. That's what this stream is all about. I have decided. For all of you campers out there, for once this year, to end 2023, the power will be yours. I know. I'm fucking up. It's going to be a shit show, but I welcome it. I'm actually basking in how much of a disaster this is going to be, but I'm kind of excited about it. Yes, when you order your baits, you get to pick the colors. This will be wild. And what I'm going to have to do, you do have to have some fun once in a while, right? That's what I'm saying. But I think what I'm going to do is once I get all the baits put up, or once I get them done, I'm gonna hold them, and then we're gonna do a camper stream, and we're gonna show off all the shit that everybody picked. Nah, Jeremy, there's no difference in doing it from taking on random orders and doing it here. Like people do that shit all the time. Like it would be no different if 40 people sent me 2 baits a piece or whatever and said, "Hey, can you paint this?" Sure. You know what I mean? It's not any different. Um, no different. I've done worse. At least I know who I'm dealing with. That's the best part about it. Tell Joe Dirt his toe bill on the Hemi. Uh, get the pen and paper. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I mean, I'm gonna have to do it like the old days. Uh, tried giving away stuff, and neither guy will send me their address. What the hell? What a slap in the face, Stearman. You're not the worst. Can't even give something away anymore. Oh, so we'll see. I think it'll be fun. I have other baits that um, I have other baits that I can do what I want to on, and we're gonna do this one batch that way. Um, before Bass After Dark, I was the only admitted public skunk lover. Oh, Bobby, if you go back and if you go back in 2019, I posted this bait I painted. Uh, I painted this bait. I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, and I posted it in Woodbait Nation. This was a I am Burns. Um, I restored this Balsa B3 a little bit, and I put this paint job on it, and I posted it in Woodbait Nation in 2019 and said, "Who likes skunk stuff or like dark crankbaits?" And I got some comments. Let's see if I still have them. I sent them to Eric to let him. Oh, I did read them last time. Never mind. We talked about this, but yeah, there's a few people out there. Brennan, that's off the limits. That's where the line is drawn. That is the only thing not allowed. Anything else is fine. There will be an asterisk at the bottom. The scales do not qualify because then everybody would request that and I would never finish. Rate the baits. No, I don't, Brendan. I don't. No, you can't they just happen. Morgan understands. You can't just request the scales. They just when they're ready, they pop up. It's a mental thing. It is a mental thing. It's not a mechanical thing where it's just like, oh, just go get it done. It's like you have to prepare yourself for what you're about to get yourself into. Uh, rate the baits. Yeah, we could do a rate the baits on colors. It'd be fun. It'll be very very interesting to see what gets chosen. Uh, yeah, Burns is right. Certainly no magic scales if you ask. That is the way to never get them. You know what I don't know. This might be pushing it. No, that's what we're talking about. Team No Fish. The secret color is off the table. Um, I might, I might be really dumb. I might add as a extra triple dotted eyes. Somebody wants triple dotted eyes. Say, give me the three dots. I might be going full idiot here, but I'm feeling froggy. I don't know that. Yeah, I've got some three dot stuff. Put row guys. I could. I actually. Where is it? I found some rogues this weekend. How much spiked eggnog? The Evan Williams eggnog I have not had this year. Um, doing the full dork thing. Yeah, I have gone full dork. Uh, no, still not going down that. We're once we opened the no hook uh, box, it's never getting shut. We definitely decided that everybody has their preferences of hooks. So um, how about an angry Spro? Trying to think how I could do that. That'd be difficult. I'd have to make me a tool. We did that run of. I think Eric's talked about skunk before because we did that run of whatchamacallits for him, timber tigers. Uh, so at some point he's talked about it because he wouldn't have painted timber tigers in skunk without talking about it. Uh, my son snagged a KVD 1.5 with no hooks on it. How's that possible? Clay, get this. Speaking of snagging hooks, crossing swords. So my fishing partner and I, Jody, were fishing a night tournament, but it starts in the afternoon and goes into the nighttime. And we were going down this bank and we were both throwing spinner baits. And it was getting to the point where it was like dark, but it wasn't dark yet, but you couldn't see. And we were throwing at the bank, and there was a tree you could kind of make out, and we both kind of threw at that tree, and we got hung. And I was like, I'm hung. He's like, damn it, I'm hung too. And we both started snatching, and we got up to the tree, and our spinner baits had connected by the hook. And the whole time we were pulling on each other. We were hogging on each other. Can you believe that? Um, could just add a drop down in the shopping. Customers could add hooks for $1 and you can throw them in. Could. I'm not horseshoe custom baits though. Hell, I'll leave that to AJ. Clay, it was impressive. I was pretty astonished. That's the first time I've ever gone hook to hook with somebody. It's the only time I've crossed hooks with another man, another angler. Sword fighting. What was your timing? I think Anthony just has a he just knows when shit gets good. Better hooks than dongs. Oh, we here for 5 minutes for his 1.5 to float up. Never did. You know what I used to do? One of the best ways from is the best ways for me to get baits unhung, like it was always my last resort, is if I'd lose a crankbait in a tree, I would break it off and then I would go shake the tree. Like if it was not attached to the ground, like a lot of times you could get in there and like wiggle the tree. And I can't tell you how many crankbaits I've popped loose by shaking the actual tree with my hands. That's which it requires a special tree for that, but I have freed a handful of crankbaits by just manually shaking the log. I ran my boat into it one time to jar it. That worked actually. Like ran it up on top of the tree, pulled up my trolling motor and hit it with the keel of the boat. Boom. Uh, I've actually gotten lucky a lot getting baits back. Had fish jump and throw them back and go over there and get them. Uh, this was primarily back in my like 12-pound string days though. And then I got into the sliding, the line where you slide your rod down your line and pop your bait out. That has cost me, I can't tell you how many dozens of inserts out of the tips of my rods. Works really good, but getting them back from the fish is the best. I don't recall ever catching a fish twice and getting my bait back. I have heard of that happening to where somebody like goes out there and sets the hook on a fish and then throws back out there and and catches the bait or catches the fish with the bait still in their mouth. I don't think I've ever done that. Stearman saying over here. Did that with a worm one time. Kim did it. She's so much older. What are we supposed to talk about? Cranking my home. what what is that, Travis? That's got to go to. Did you send that to Anthony? Anthony, I'm about to send you something that was in Stearman's feed this morning. So apparently, cranking hogs is not isolated to the fishing industry. Hey, Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate, I am. I am. I know. I'm batshit crazy. I broke a fish off on a jig front of the pontoon, then grabbed another jig, went to the front of the pontoon, caught a big bass at the tournament with the other jig in its mouth. Come on, Hella. That is a yarn. You are joshing us. That is like the most old timer story I've ever heard in my life. Like you can't tell that story and not be pushing 80. Pitch my jig over there, that pontoon. Bam! Oh, broke my line. Picked up my other jig, pitched it over. Bam! 7-pounder, won the tournament and big fish. Morgan, let me see. Maybe because we've talked about this, maybe everybody is getting the same everybody's getting the same message. Dude, it's the same one. Yeah. Can't make this up. Stumbled across this and it sums up our group of Fisher dudes. All right. So Travis just sent me that, Brendan, and he said for whatever reason that was on my feed this morning. So everybody that watches this stream is now getting targeted with hog cranking memes, which is the funniest thing I have ever seen. Cranking my hog. She's so much older. What are we supposed to talk about? Cranking my hog. Uh, yeah, Morgan. I guess I need to. I guess I need to post that in the camp group. But if somebody hasn't been watching the last couple streams, they would probably wonder what the hell I was talking about. Oh, pretty funny. Only a 5-pounder, but you still won the Derby and Big Fish, and you got your jig back. How about that? All right, Hella, let me ask you this. Did this fish bite the same color jig or different color, weight, and size, or identical jig? Well, I know Little Debbie cranks this year. I'm over it, dude. It was fun when it was like the only one around, you know. But now there's every Tom, Dick, and Harry is knocking those things. So whatever. I think it was a different color and half instead of 3/8. So I got a backlash. Was taking the backlash out. Saw a fish jump and it had a worm in its mouth. Fixed my backlash and it was my worm. It was my fish with my worm in its mouth. So the fish had eaten your bait while you were picking out a backlash, jumped, and then you got the backlash out and landed the fish. I feel like I've done that a bunch. Where you like try and skip under a dock or under a tree or something, and then you like get a little backlash, you start picking it out, and you pick it up. And I don't think I've ever had one jump. Later, Nasty Nate. That will never live down the Little Debbie crank now. I have seen like 7 other guys say I have been painting it for years and I'm just painting what the customers want. Brendan, it's so stupid because here's the deal. There's one that went viral on Facebook, and it wasn't any of those other shitty ones. It was mine. And it wasn't a picture shared from my page. The guy copied my picture, or he just saved my picture and posted it on his, and he was just a normal dude. And then the shred fin dude posted it and it went, quasi viral over there. That's what started the whole thing. Like, okay, somebody sold like 10 of them. Big deal. Like, that was what started it. That was what started it. That's where I'm like, probably a million people saw it because that post got shared like, I want to say between 500,000 and 250,000 people. Like, it was something stupid, dude. It was insane. I cracked a hog one time, but I was in college and Jaeger was involved. Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody. I think everybody cranked lots of hogs in college. Jeremy, it does have a Christmas tree look. Certainly right. First viral video, not some sexy paint, just a Little Debbie. I mean, that's what people want to see. Dumb shit like that. Cosmic brownie Christmas tree. See, I don't think any Little Debbie themed anything will ever have that same impact. You gotta go way left field now. Because everybody's looking at that. Everyone's like, ooh, how can I like play off of this? You don't play off of it. You go the polar opposite. I'm good on those, Brendan. I'm not a big fan at all of triple trouts. I am not a fan in the least because they're hard to make look like something. Take you up on the BBC, trade you some root beer. Root beer for a triple trout? What we do on Jaeger is never to be talked about. They were gifted to you. Somebody gifted you 11 triple trouts? That's a lot of triple trouts, bro. Sound like Brennan's been cranking hogs over there. Brendan, how many hogs did you have to crank to get 11 free triple trouts? Whose hog do you have to crank to get a native gill? I can send you. I can send you. I can send you the broke one that Hella destroyed. I do have this one, Frank. I don't really know what it is. I have to make sure it swims. Brendan, did you ever do a tail swap and see how a softie worked in there? This is the one I put the those eyes in. I took out my standard, like just black pupiled eyes, because they look cooler. They match more the body of the bait, like. And I put the those eyes in it. I don't hate them. I don't love them though. But they look okay. The defective ones do catch more. That is a fact. Spinner baits. Hopefully we'll have some spinner baits in 2024. I got to find somewhere to take my molds to get poured. Jaeger and prune juice. That was my worst decision. Was that like instant diarrhea, Anthony? Line up all the hogs for cranking. Pink panty droppers in college. 230s of Keystone Light, 2/5 of Crystal Palace vodka, and 20 packs of pink lemonade mix in the water cooler. Like a water keg for like a job site. Anthony, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. You didn't go to a bar and be like, yeah, let me get a Jaeger and prune juice. Like, did you say prune juice? Like, yeah, you don't have prune juice? Like, no. Grapefruit juice? No. I need prunes. Blacked out in 5 cups. Honestly, we were hammered. Dude, there was a place in Tuscaloosa called Nick's in the Sticks, and it was a steakhouse. And it was way outside of, it was probably like a 45-minute drive. But they were supposedly famous for their steaks, but nobody ever ordered a steak. Like, I never saw anybody order a steak. You went there for one reason, the Nicodemus. And that was their mixed drink. And I think there was a limit. Like, I think the limit was 3. But it was pretty much like a hurricane. Like, it was red. And everybody before I went was like, you can't you can't get to 3. 2 is pushing it. And they were like normal, like they served it to you in a foamy. Like you get your foam Nicodemus, and dude, you'd make it through 1, and you were like, you were all right. 2, uh, and you were in bad shape. Um, but we kind of started asking around. The guy's name that was our waiter all the time, his name was Spoon, and I used to always call him Spoony Love from up above from Crank Anchors. And we were just dipshit college kids, and we walk in there and be like, "Oh, Spoony Love from up above," and Spoon was his name. Rest in peace, Spoon. Died in a car accident. But Spoon would give us the Nicodemuses, and we got to asking around. We're like, "What's in these things?" And the only thing that we could come up with, like the 2 ingredients that were in it that made it such a volatile compound, was that it had Everclear in it and it had Gatorade on top of all this other booze. But that's like the 2 things that gave it its kick. Uh, Dead minnows in a bucket? Never heard it. Never heard of dead minnows. Uh, if Heather would overlook this one transgression, I would crank a hog for a native kill. You know what they say, crank one hog. Went to Juarez once in '05, me and 3 buddies. Tequila Derby was $5 a drink till you drowned, and we all blacked out and woke up in my truck in Mexico. I bet that was fun. Just braved shopping at Sam's. Ouchie. Oh, I'll tell you what I braved. The post office. Is a Nicodemus catered to the black community? No. This was a multiracial establishment. It wasn't a bunch of just college kids. Um, yeah, this was pre scissor. This would have been '04, something like that. '06. Dude, the post office was the only one open on Saturday was at the mall. And I went to the mall and I walked in and the line was down the wall, like halfway towards Santa Claus. It was painful. And I got to I made it through the line going down the wall, and I got in the door to where I could hear people like talking, and that's when I understood where the line came from. Because there was people trying to ship shit international, like Christmas presents, like all of them. Like, I need to send these 12 packages to Brazil. It's like, are you serious right now? Like, oh yeah, fill out all these customs forms. So they'd be doing that, and they have questions. And then this one lady, like every lady that walked in there ahead of me, was like, I have to ship this, and I have the box, but I don't have tape. Do you have tape? Like, well, if you ship it priority, you can use priority tape. Like, what's that? Well, I don't want to spend that much. Well, you have to if you want to use our tape, or you can buy tape. It's like, oh. It was disastrous, and all I needed was stamps. I needed 100 stamps. We have a town in Kansas named Nicodemus, founded by black settlers after slavery ended. How about that? That's interesting. No, no reference. I don't think. I always thought it was a reference to Nostradamus. I don't know. Nicodemus. I don't know where they got the name from. I mean, it was Nicks in the Sticks, so I guess they just, I don't know. Uh, Purple Jesus? That would be a great bait color name, Darius. Mad Dog, that's still popular. Never heard of Purple Jesus. Nicodemus from the Secret of Nim? Nime? Hello, Kyle. It does sound like a band from the 70s or the 80s. Uh, Melody just picked up 12 boxes. What the? Could be Nicodemus from the Bible. Yeah, that's probably more likely. Being in the Bible Belt, probably from the Bible, which is kind of odd to name a pure poison alcohol drink from a biblical term. Uh, Jesus Lizard. I have heard of Jesus Lizard. They were at. Was that like? Were they like? Were they like post punk? I feel like Jesus Lizard reminds me of like a Sonic Youth kind of genre type band. Nicodemus sounds like alter ego ripping bombs in the water while packing a lump of chew. I guess I'm about to name a bait the Nicodemus. Crankodemus. Hogademus. Jesus Lizard. I'm good with those. I'm good with those obscure bands, JP. Hello, Sean Line. Uh, Purple Jesus. Man, we got all kinds of great bait names today. Hogademus, Crankodemus, Nicodemus. Good old Dipper's bait. Red man and red and green black crawl. Could be, Clay. Could be. A jazz guitar player playing funk music with a drunk guy singing. Their live show is incredible. Do they have somebody famous in their band? There's something around Jesus Lizard that like sticks in my brain, and I don't know what it is. Uh, like, did their lead singer like have some sort of tragic death or something? Apparently, there's an actual lizard called the Jesus Lizard. John, it is a company issued work shirt, but there's a lady here that gets them from all the companies that rent these shirts from the uniform supply company. And when their employees are terminated, they get the shirts back, take the patches off of them if they have patches, and they sell them to this lady for nothing. Obviously, I think she gets them for free. I think they're trash, and she gets them for free, and because she sells them for $1. musicians band. They're kind of like they're like a King Crimson or something like that. Clay, you went to high school with Jim Morrison? He used to work for Chevron, and we had uniforms with that pearl snaps and everything. Damn, dude, I need to go find the lady that's selling y'all's old shirts. Um, you ever throw Blaze square bills? Never heard of them. The Jesus Lizard. Oh, they're from Austin. Formed in Austin, based in Chicago. Origin. Okay, this is starting to make sense now. So JP, we'll go down a little. I might have heard from the Jesus lizards about the Jesus lizards while going down the wormhole of the 13th floor elevators. Rocky Erickson, are you familiar with him? And if you're not, you should look him up and look at his story. Uh, then you'll find yourself in a wormhole. Rocky Erickson, the 13th floor elevators. If you know, you know. If you don't, and you have some time, explore. They're out of Austin though. Uh, Imagine a business model where you can get your product for free to sell. I know, Morgan. It's pretty incredible. Um, what did I walk into? Jesus Lizards. Kyle, do you listen to that band? Travis prays every night to the Jesus Lizard. Uh, I'd like to. We need to start spamming Manson with like fan mail, but like send him all this stuff that's like creature related. So we'll have like this shrine or collection of all these like lizards. Like whenever somebody sees like a lizard, you pick it up and you send it to Manson, and then like after the course of a year, his backdrop is nothing but these little plastic lizards or any kind of lizard art, anything. Not familiar, but I like wormholes. So Rocky has some mental health issues, but he's a very interesting character. St. John's Methodist in Albuquerque. No shit, that's where Jim Morrison went to school. Is Travis or is Manson going Lizard Live tonight? So, what is the store of the Kentucky Lake monster? My fishing buddy was listening to something talking about a murder that happened back in the 80s around Kentucky Lake. You have to ask Darius. He might know. Darius, do you know anything about a murder around Kentucky Lake in the 80s? Nicodemus means victory of the people. Interesting. DMT and stimulants. 100% stimulants because he does not sleep, Anthony. He's not fooling anybody. Like about the 10th episode where he was running on like a an hour and a half of sleep and was like, "Oh yeah, I've got to go guide in the morning." It's midnight and he's like, "Oh, I got to wake up at 3." No mortal man can do that. Lizard man, yes. Blaze, they were cheap, sold at Tractor Supply Hardware, but they are phenomenal little cheap square bill. Let me look this up. I forgot. I got off track with the lizards, with the lizard king. I left Travis a little nugget last time about the Adam and Eve story. I don't send it to me. I like wormholes. Uh, Blaze crankbaits. Let me see here. Oh, there they are. Blaze hardbaits. Oh yeah, they just look like regular old Alibaba, generic kind of Timu crankbaits. I can see those working. I mean, they look pretty decent. Looks like a kind of like a series, like a 250 Bandit, and then like a little round bill lipless popper. See those being good. He was telling me some people went camping at Land Between the Lakes and never got found, and something got them. Hmm. Hmm. Like a creature? Something. As in, sounds like a Mad Dog 2020 story. I'm with Darius. Sounds like Purple Jesus got him. uh, Purple Jesus. That was definitely the culprit. We solved this crime 10 minutes. He go down wormholes worse than Tegan does. Well. You're probably right, Clay. We've gone full smallmouth crush. This is we have gone to conspiracies, but we're debunking them. We already took see you, Bobby Bossa. We already took care of the murder at Kentucky Lake. We already solved that one. I'm about to get off of here. I gotta go get some baits sanded. I gotta go paint a few baits. Um, Ever seen the Hide Up HU30BT cranks? They had a weight just behind the bill. Works like a jig. Hmm. No, let me look. HU30BT. That's a lot. Hide Up HU30BT. Crank. Let me see this weird thing. Oh, they have different sizes. They have a medium diver. They have a small. Oh, never mind. They don't. These are the attributes of it. It is silent. It dives 1 foot. It is a mid wobbler, and it has a weedless design lip. I can see that. That looks like it should be a. That looks like a. Whatchamacallit bait. Amakatsu. Is Hide Up related to them? They look like they would be. It's like the shallow IK 180. JP, you know who would know? Eric. They look like they're priced reasonably, $13.50 on Ichiban. Same bait designer. There you go. Yeah, he took the lip off of the IK series and made it a little short guy. I like it. It's cool. I like those weird lips. I don't know how. What's up, Rich? I don't know how. I don't know how receptive the U.S. market is for something like that as a whole. Um, is the hybrid hunter a baby one replacer? I don't think so. Maybe. But that's what I thought was odd, Clay, now that you mentioned that, because I think I asked Todd uh, early on in one of his little group things um, if he was a user of, like, the precursor to the hybrid hunter, was he catching those fish on like a one minus kind of bait, or did he throw a one minus? And I believe his answer was no. So it's not like he was like trying to find a better mousetrap. He just kind of stumbled onto that one. Um, so I don't, I don't know what what you could do. I think a lot of it's technique. Um, I'm sure there's a lot of it's technique, but a lot of it, I guess, is the bait. Um, is the hybrid hunter worth the hype? I mean, I think if you're willing to take the time to learn how to use it and see if it works for you. I mean, it's not a miracle drug. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to buy it and just go out there and just start whacking them on it. Um, just like anything else. If you can, if you can figure out like, if your water sets up for it, if you've got cover and grass and stuff to fish it around, then you should probably learn it. But it'll probably come in handy to generate some bites. But hype, I don't know that I would consider it a hype bait. Uh, Not like Viagra, no, no. Like I said, I think it's obviously a bait that's caught a lot of fish, and it's not like the guys that had them. It was it's definitely a lot of it is the bait, because the guys that had the bubbas back in the day, like, it was a very secretive thing, and the only reason I knew about it is because a guy wanted me to paint some of them, and Todd was indirectly tied into that order. Um, and like, it was one of those baits that, like, you take the bait and you can give it to decently capable hands, and guys can, like, smash them. You know what I mean? It's not, and I think that was what was happening. Like, the guys that had them, like, they a lot of them caught them because of that bait. Um, I did, Jeremy. I would have. There was so many more questions, like lipless questions. I would have loved to, or just more lipless conversation, because I'm no, like, lipless guru. So hearing people talk about, like, lipless baits is pretty interesting to me. Uh, Specifically, nowhere else in the country but Texas, because those guys are like lipless and Carolina rig guys. Like, if you want to learn from the best, like, Those dudes know it. So yeah, the Bubba actually does exist, but they had Strike King. They licensed Strike King licensed the molds through Strike Pro. That's what the original package would have looked like. So this was the Hybrid Hunter before the Hybrid Hunter existed. I don't know why the letters are all backwards, but the Big Bubba. So yeah, they licensed the molds. Strike Pro produces them for Strike King. So the Hybrid Hunter now comes out of the exact same mold that this bait came in. There's a little Bubba. That's a smaller one. Let's see. What else? What other weird ones we got in here? No. Oh, there's the color. Oh, no. It's a little bigger, Brendan. They had that wake that Upshaw went to the Classic with. I don't know that story, Clay. I don't keep up with Upshaw that much, though. I did not see that MLF made more changes. Ron, apparently Todd was in with Casey designing the whatever that one was called, the movement, whatever. The swank. That one. Apparently Todd had a hand in this one, but from what I understand from the people that crank these, this one goes too deep and it doesn't sound right. Oh, the way back. Blaze went way back. I didn't know they were that old. Went from 50 to 65 anglers in top prize from 100. Huh. So they kicked people off and then moved the anglers high, like made the cap higher. Yeah, it's a swank. This one's a 77. But like I said, I don't know. I will say, good job, 6 Cents. You actually made it look cool. I would much rather throw this one than this one. Way uglier. But went from 50 to 65 anglers in top prize. There you go. 65, 25, 15, 26. It's weird. Never thrown the Axis. I bought one because it was a novelty. Just one. It's still over there in the pack. Yeah. Which, this sweatshop or the Strike Pro sweatshop? But no, I haven't ever thrown the Axis. I don't see where it would I don't find value in it. Like, what do I do with it? You know what I mean? I've got 6,000 crankbaits, and then I'm going to have one that the bill is wiggling around. Why haven't I thrown it? Like I said, it doesn't make any sense to me. Chicken. What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken. MLF is imploding. Let me see it somewhere around here. I say that. Pinjack. Ima. It's a cool looking bait. Don't know what it's doing in here. More strike crow stuff. I don't know what I did with that thing. It's somewhere in the novelty section. What's the most underrated crankbait? Norman Middle Inn. That's easy. You didn't miss much, Frank. Everybody's. I think all the hogs went to sleep. Yeah, most underrated bait, probably a Norman Middle Inn. What else is underrated? Mm, Series 3 XD. Strike King? Do you want to go Strike King baits? You're going finesse. What do you throw first? Hard bait? I have somebody from Yekaterinburg, SVE, Russia on my website right now. Jitterbug. I've never thrown a jitterbug, but I could see that definitely being an underrated bait. Kyle, I would like MLF if they weren't, if the whole format didn't suck. They've got the anglers, but they have 30 days of tournaments. You know what I mean? Like, their tournaments are 8 days long or however long it is. It's like drawn out. They have all these events that nobody knows. Like, I don't, as a casual watcher, I don't know what they are because they're like, oh, here's the Summit Cup, here's the like this event, and they're all like supposed to mean something, but they don't mean jack shit to me. Like, it's confusing. And I follow bass fishing. Like, they make it annoying for me, and I'm like trying to like be into it. But if I'm going finesse and I need to throw a hard bait, Deep Baby in. Another Norman. MLF's Hog Cranking Classic in April. I don't know. I can't keep up with it. Rapella Scatter Wraps with the hook, the cupped bill. Gator, that's what they should do. Go back. Somebody else said it. Go back to where they started. Just make it a made for TV thing, and like don't try and be like something you're not. They obviously don't know what they're doing. They have a bunch of money and they're throwing shit up against the wall to see what sticks, and nothing is sticking. Clay, think MLF will survive? They've got the wallet for it. It just depends on how much pressure you put on said wallet. Most overrated? I don't know. What's everybody like throwing? What's the most popular bait to fish? I'll tell you the most overrated item in fishing: fluorocarbon. Most overrated crankbait. Strike King 1.5. Yeah, I've never really been a huge fan of those. Um, Hydrowave? Yeah, Clay. What's happened to the Hydrowave? Like, I was thinking about that a couple weeks ago. Now, with forward facing, the Hydrowave should be pushing more and more than they ever have. Because if their product works as it should, now you should be able to target the fish you can see with the sound technology. Bring them in to the to the beam, but you don't hear much about that. Um, let's see. Overrated. I don't know that how much stuff is overrated, overowned. Like I think you could just replace overrated with overowned just because millions of people have the shit. That doesn't make it like overrated. It's just they're cheap and they're available to everybody, so you have them, and then everybody talks about them. So, like when given the opportunity, is somebody going to go out and buy a Strike King gravel dog or a deep middle end, like just a regular middle end? You're going to go buy the gravel dog because they're marketing towards you and you want to be, you know, you want to listen to Strike King people. You don't want to listen to nobody talking about the middle end. So then everybody gets those and everybody's like, oh, this thing's awesome. It's awesome because everybody has it and they're talking about it. Most underrated is a speed trap. Yeah, the speed trap is a great bait. Power pole is wasting investment with spotlight, at least for the price. Run the Hydrowave a lot. Morgan, don't you think that they should be pushing more of their product though now? Like if anything, now is like the time for Hydrowave to shine. Speaking of, when the babies were when the babies were over here a couple nights ago, when me and Pryor were talking on the camp stream, the baby found this little bag of goodies, and I'll show you what's in here. So this is an old bag from the factory at Lure Jensen when they were made in Mexico. And these are like their factory blanks. I don't know what this lipless is called, but I think these were called the sonar. It's like their medium diving bait. Pretty cool. I had a couple different sizes in that. And then speed trap. But these are the teeny ones. I guess these are like the 1/8 ounce ones. I'd love to paint them because I'd love to fish with them, but I kind of like having them blank just because they're like a. I could just buy a new one and be satisfied. Like I don't want to. I don't want to blow my wad. And, I mean, these probably aren't rolling around everywhere. You know what I mean? Factory speed trap blanks, um, especially the foiled ones. But the kids should make more guest appearances. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I think the power pole technology is more for launching and loading a boat and waiting. How much? I want. I still want poles. I guess I'm like 10 years behind the rest of the world, but I'm like, I need some poles with my Fortrex. Is there much of a difference in the action from a bandit and pre-Preco bandit? I mean, some people probably say there is. Is it enough to matter? Maybe. Um, I don't know. Morgan, are you referring to bandit? Mega bass. Everything is overrated. Even the 110? Oh, poles and spot lock. Oh, they're not a one or the other in conjunction replacement. Um, I don't know. I feel like I'd use poles way more than I would ever use spot lock because I fish shallow and spot lock would totally destroy where I was fishing. Like if I'm going down the bank and I hit spot lock and the head of the trolling motor turns and like blows out the bank trying to keep me straight, like that's worthless. But being behind the boat and anchoring me is perfect. Um, but I don't fish open water, so it doesn't matter. I don't need spot lock. Um, Poles, though, yes. All spot lock is going to do in shallow water is blow your water out. Yeah, not for me. Not a feature I will make use of. But all right, dudes, I'm gonna get off of here. Campers, be ready for an email sometime in the future. Once you have poles, you'll never be without. I know, Scott. I've jumped in a couple boats with them on them, and I'm like, man, this is real nice to have. This is a real comfort. John, I think they're the Mac. Ask Burns. Like I said, though, I can't tell a whole lot of damn difference in them anyway. Let me see. The MP Fat and the Mac. What did I do with that thing? Let's see. Uh, Bill's a smidge bigger. I mean, profile is nearly identical. Bill angle's a little flatter. Um, Next drop should be the Mini Mac and the Nitwit. Okay, Burns has clarified. When they start getting in these type of shapes, I get confused. They all look the same to me. For sale, they will be. They will be. Uh, but all right, dudes, I'm gonna get out of here. Wouldn't the Mini Mac be square bill? I don't know, Morgan. Uh, you're gonna have to talk to Burns. Pretty sure the MP was the last drop. So maybe I mislabeled it as the Mac, the Mini Mac. I can't keep up with this. This one has this lip, and this one has this lip. I think we're getting more confused because this is the nitwit. MP and a Mac was the last drop. I'm confused too. I just work here. I just wait for the mail person to have me a Burns box. I don't ask too many questions. The last drop was a mini Mac and a mini root. I believe you're correct. Yeah, I'm going to start getting. I am next year. I am going to do the insert cards to where I can write on it what the baits are. That'll help everybody. Only Burns knows. Very true. That's why my next camper sesh I'm going to do with. I want to have Eric and I want to have Burns on them. We're just going to like pin Burns down and be like, "Tell me what this is." Burns said this was the Mac, the mini Mac, I believe. Uh, this is not a mini Mac. What is this? Or are you saying no? You don't want to get pinned down to this is an MP. Mac should have a square bill. Okay, so that is an MP fat. Okay, clarity. Clarity. Mini Mac is a square bill. I can't keep up with the Burns designs. Mini Mac. I thought the Mini Mac looked like this kind of. Shows what I know. MP has a round bill. Rich, I'm with you. I can keep up with the ones that I have like a dealings within, but when Burns starts pulling out of his vault, I get confused. Uh, Looking forward to my first big M bait. Johnny, that's a very I didn't think Epic E came off of those. Mini Mac was rounder. I'll have to go back and look. The reason I call this a Mini Mac, I thought Burns told me it was a Mini Mac. I thought he said Mini Mac up here. Where was it? Mini Mac was the last drop. I can't keep up. Yeah, he said pretty sure the MP was the last drop. Next drop should be the Mini Mac and the Nitwit, which would be these two, except it's not a Mini Mac. It's a Nitwit. I mean, it's a uh, MP Fat. All right. So now that there's clarity, Ryan, there's doubles of everything. It is half and half. There is half silent, half rattling. I'm just going by what I'm told up here in the comments, Brendan. I think everybody's confused. I think Builder Dude sniffed too much epoxy. All right. I'm out of here. I'm about to go. Which baits have knockers? That's the Nitwit. MP. Fat. And I can't share with you what the knockers look like because Burns will chop my weenie off. I don't want my hog cranked off by Builder Dude for showing his exposed rattle. So it's going to stay over there in the box. Can't hog without a weenie, correct. All right. Y'all go hogging. Let me know how it goes. No, don't let me know how it goes. Keep that to yourself. Burns, you mean to tell me that there might... Okay, never mind. Never mind. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. Before this shit gets any deeper, I'm out.